Welcome to the Six Fix Podcast. I'm Digit Murphy for another episode of Toronto Six Hockey. And today I am with one of our top D, if not the top D. EC's going to get mad that I say that and all the other D. But TTT Taylor Woods, Cornell alum, Go Big Red. Welcome to the show, T Woods. Love you.
Thank you. Yeah, love you too. Glad to be on finally.
Oh, I know. It's taken us a while to get you on. Looks like you just got out of the workout yourself. You're such a workout machine. How do you do it?
I just whatever's ahead is I was actually with just a couple of teams, so getting them through, getting some competitions in as well. So got into it. So got to show how far I could jump and how quick my feet are, and
Unbelievable.
yeah.
You've been out of the game for a little while, but you just get better and better every year. When did you graduate from Cornell? I forget.
2016. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good. So you're a real veteran.
Yeah, little getting up there.
Yeah, but that's
lost
great.
how old I am. Lost how old I am after when I graduated. So
you're not old. Here's what happens is we've kind of have this thing with women that they're done after college because we don't really have anywhere to go, right? Which is one of the reasons why the T6 is so important to the growth and development of women post-collegiately, right? So I think you're amazing and you're doing all sorts of wonderful things. So tell us right now, like you just got off the court or whatever you were doing, lifting weights. Like tell us what you're doing in your real life job besides for the T6.
yeah. So currently I'm at a facility called On Ice doing skills development there. So teaching anywhere from 6 to 17. Shooting, stick handling, just basic edge movements, sort of more in-depth game-like situations as well. Work at Hammer Strength Performance also at the facility, so we're sort of like a one-stop shop there, so you can get your training in on the ice as well as off the ice. I'm also at McMaster's University helping with their high performance. As well as doing a little bit more of my own stuff in terms of content based off of T Wood's training, but I separated it off into a hockey part and a fitness part. Just
You're
to
like
please the
a
audience.
walking like small business advertisement like machine, like T Woods. Like you got it going on, girl.
I try, you got to keep it entertaining.
Yeah, baby. So let's go back to memory lane here a little bit. I asked you guys to all have a little. My friend Georgia actually built that banner that we had at the other championship, and I asked you for the little picture of you. I gotta get a shot of that to put in the podcast because it's so cool to see you guys when you were little kids. So talk about your little kid picture, not just the little kid picture, but you growing up and playing hockey.
I even think just trying to think about that picture when it was. I think that was my first composite stick. I loved it. It was this green little army thing.
Like you need it at that age.
Like, hey, I wanted to look cool. Composite sticks were in the now, and it was like a super grip stick. It's like, two-piece. Here we go. I'm repping it out in style.
Two-piece. Remember that? We had the torches.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. We had to have like a whole room with torches and sticks and blades and glue. Oh my God. Remember that?
Put it together. Wrap the tape so the blade doesn't come off. But scored my first goal with that little rainbow shot from the point, come in right over top of the goalie. I think I did the same celebration that I did on the blue line. I just hands up in the air. I just didn't finish with the little sword toss. But
I like the sword toss. The sword toss is cool. I gotta say, you're still scoring them from the point though.
I just have the mind to shoot. Like that's what I practice. That's what I teach here. So you gotta show the product. So whenever there's that opening or whenever I feel like I could get it through and get opportunities for offense, let's just pound it on net.
Yeah, and I want to talk about that because I don't think girls shoot enough. Like, do you find that? Like, I got people at home now listening to this. You're a parent, you're a kid, you're a player. Why don't girls shoot enough, and how do you get them to shoot more?
Well, like if it's going to be an offensive game. Everyone wants to score, right? And how do you score? You don't pass to score. You don't dump it in to score. You shoot to score, right? That's the phrase, shoot, you score.
Thank you.
So, and also just like realizing like shooting isn't a selfish thing. Like if you're going to score a goal for your team and you're going to be up and you're going to like give a chance to win for your team, you got to shoot. And sometimes those shots create opportunities, creates different rebounds. It just creates different things. So looking at scoring and shooting is not a selfish play.
I 1000% agree. And I think, and I don't want to get too deep on this, but I think you know where I'm going with this. This is a systemic problem with girls and women in general. We're always apologetic. We're always self-deprecating. We don't want to look like, we don't want all eyes on us, except if you're me. Like I like having all eyes on me because I don't care. And I'm old. But, how do we teach these young girls to be less selfish, T. Woods? It's important.
It's little bit at a time. Like even like I do specific shooting sessions, right? So if you come in for more shooting sessions, the more frequent you shoot, the more that you get to see it, the more that you're actually, I guess, in that zone and in that mold. So then they'll just shoot more. It's like, hey, like what are my options? And the first thing that comes to mind is shooting, right?
Thank you.
Creating those different things is like, hey, like this is what you could do, this is what you could do. So it's almost like building that environment.
Yeah,
for them.
I agree, 1000%. Now, speaking of your shooting prowess, you shoot both ways. I don't think people know anyone that can shoot both ways. Like, talk about your whole. I mean, when I heard this story, I'm like, oh my God, this woman can actually, like, she's a pro athlete, NCAA athlete, and she could literally, I could say, hey, T. Woods, go get your lefty stick out, and you could go do it. So, talk about that you can shoot both ways and how that all happened.
Yeah, just after college, I sort of just had an injury. I'm like, oh, well, actually, ironically, just someone said, it's like, oh, yeah, like, if only you shoot both ways. I say ironically because I think it's the person that said it that we both know. But anyway, so I was like, going down. Like, I was just out in the yard. It was like just in the summer, and it's like, okay, well, I gotta shoot both ways. So I videoed this, like me shooting as a lefty for the first time. I'm like, this is awful. Yeah. This looks like I'm like swinging, like just trying to whack a fly out of the air or something. And then I was like, hey, like I'm just gonna keep at it, gonna give some a little bit of time. And then overall, it's like, hey, you know what, like I'm going to teach myself this. I could teach myself like how I could progress kids as it goes forward. What are like maybe the small little intangibles, like the cues that I could come up with to help kids progress so they don't have to shoot as much. Or even just sort of finding that ways like, hey, I could get my shot like this much harder through the small little cues that people don't think about. So that's sort of the unique niche that I could offer.
So without giving away your secrets, give us one. Like, what was a secret sauce that you figured out? Weight shift.
Weight shift, just in terms of like just body position and how even just the puck only cares about your stick. So you got to, if you want to score the puck, like you can't score with your body. You got to score the puck in the net. So you got to favor that puck and position your body in a way. And it just comes with even just like a timing and a rhythm of it.
Yeah, I remember growing up just as a kid, how many slap shots I would just practice every single day on the ice. My brother, I couldn't play hockey because there were no girls programs. So the guys next to my brother's rink would open this little side rink. You know, they had these little mini rinks, and they're like, go in. So every time he was on the ice, I would just go shoot. The whole time I would just shoot. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, I had the best slap shot. I'm like, oh, it's easy to score. It's easy because I was the only girl that could actually shoot. So listen, shoot more pucks, I think, is the number one thing because you get that feel, right? I don't think people really understand that part of this whole practice is what you just said. It's your body, it's like shifting weight, it's, the puck seeing the net. Like they don't get it until you do it. And unfortunately, you know this, practice makes perfect and people don't want to practice. They want immediate gratification these days.
Yeah, practice makes perfect and perfect practice as well. Right. And especially now since like everyone sees video, everyone sort of sees, okay, like this is how you could shoot. There's so many more different releases, there's so many more different situations. So understanding like if you could come up with like, hey, like this is sort of the situation and you could practice these situations and give yourself tools, then you're going to be better off in the game.
Yeah, and especially for D, I know we're talking coaching a lot, but I think this is important. People want to hear this. Getting pucks to the net. Like you said earlier, anything can happen. And I think with girls especially, I talk about this at practice. Don't try to be pretty patty perfect. Like just get pucks to net. It doesn't have to be beautiful because the goalie's probably going to save it 99% of the time anyways. You're going to score on a tip, you're going to score on a rebound. But for whatever reason, we want that water bottle shot every time.
It's nice, it's gratification wise, but typically those water bottle plays come from certain situations like those like rebound shots or some sort of passing play happens or like there's a turnover like right close to the net. It's like there's work that's put in before those shots come. But as a defense, like like my job on the point is like, hey, like if there's anything open, I'm just gonna try to sift it through. I'm trying to create some rebounds or even just create just a situation that's going to create something else after.
100%. And, if you can just get it by that first shot blocker, a lot of really cool things can happen too. And we talk about that a lot, like especially when I coach young kids. Just get it past the first guy, with some kind of velocity. It doesn't even, like sometimes you could even shoot kind of off net. And next thing you know, there's a guy down low and it hits off someone's skate. Yeah. That's the other thing. Like people think, oh, I got to shoot for a corner from the point. And granted, you look at the pros, man, some of those D at top, they're like picking corners from the blue line. But I'm not saying we can't do it as women, but we are a little weaker, and it is what it is. We just have to be smarter when we shoot.
Yeah. Which makes it harder to score.
Correct. Which makes our game so much more harder to play, right? Yeah. And it's more...
And a little bit more entertaining. It's a little bit more of a chess match.
Exactly. A little more tactical. A little more finesse. Yeah. All right. So let's go back again. So you played with... We got off on our tangent. There's a typical Digit Murphy thing. We got off on tangents, but that's okay. Talk about when you were growing up. I know you scored, like, where did you play? Like, people want to know. Where did you play and how'd you get to Cornell?
So played more minor hockey growing up. In high school, I went to Notre Dame for 3 years in grade 9 to grade 11. Then I came back home, played for Balmoral Hall in the JWHL for my final year. Had great teammates, great line mates, playing forward too throughout that whole time.
Nice.
During that time, I think... won an ESO Cup finalist, played U18s with Truly.
So cool.
Yeah, and JWHL, I think we were like top 2 in our league as well. So lots of success, lots of fun, lots of powerhouse up front as well. So
that's funny that you played forward and then like, okay, let's not go there. I want to keep going. And then you got recruited to go to Cornell.
Yeah.
What year, like, how did they do it back then? Were you committing as juniors? Because a lot of people are like, what was it like back then? Because that was almost 9 years ago, right?
Yeah, this is a good story. So I started recruiting or like looking at places within grade 10, grade 11. Cornell was actually one of the first ones off my list because they just weren't contacting me as avid as like the other schools. And then it was the summer in my grade 11 year. Doug came back and sort of gave me a phone call. It's like, hey, like we want you to come down to the campus. We're interested. So came back on my radar. He actually came down to see one of my games in the summer. And I just fell in love with the campus when I went on there for my official visit. So.
And you probably went in the summer if you fell in love with the campus.
I went in the fall. I went during homecoming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the dirty little secret about Cornell is the winter, but we won't go there. But you're Canadian, you get it, right? I'm like, I was just talking to Sue, one of my buddies, Sue Fulshaw. She's the captain of Cornell. You know Sue. She's 4 years behind me, and she's now down in, I can't remember, Costa Rica somewhere. And she's like, it's sunny every day. I go, it's payback for Ithaca because every day, because she grew up in Ithaca, every day is
Yeah.
cloudy. She goes, but you don't really notice when you live there. I said, yeah, but when you go somewhere else, you're like, oh my God, the sun comes out. But you know, you know how it is in the winter in Ithaca. Anyway,
It's cold, it's chilly. Sometimes you get hit with a lot of snow. Sometimes it's just bare to the bone cold.
yeah.
So
But
yeah,
that's cool though because it just, you know, puts you inside with your teammates. It like adversity builds character. So there's always upside to everything in life, right? And that's how you have to live your life.
yeah, I agree.
Um, so speaking of living your life now, you are a weightlifter as well. Crazy how much weight you can lift. I saw some video of you. You have like like you have these like plates that are like they look like 6 inches wide, and you have three of them on both sides, and you're just
Yeah.
like, you know, it's a little hard, but you're going for like a top lift. Like talk about your lifting and how you got into that.
Yeah, it started off when I was just training for hockey. It's like I knew I needed to get better, and I'm not the tallest bean sprout there, but so I had to work
You and
on
Easty,
things.
you and Easty. It's like,
Oh, I know.
sorry.
Like lift me up and throw me. It's like, yeah, sticks are a little bit different. But yeah, so I started young, just because it's like I need to be stronger, I need to be faster to keep up because it's like I take 5 strides and people take 3. So started to look into it, fell in love with it when I was in grade 10, and it's sort of just, I guess that's my career now too. So yeah, just took it to heart at that point.
Okay. No, I want to know numbers. Like you're going for
Numbers
the
wise,
world record. People, she is going for, no, the world or the Canadian. One of the records. You're going for it, and you're a hockey player.
one of those, yeah. So I think the one that you're referring to is my squat. So
Okay.
last week I hit a 405 squat, which is
405.
a little 405, which is 4 plates. It's big.
Four
Like
now.
four plates. Yeah.
I can't even imagine.
Little bit of a it was tough, but I hit it. But the record is, I think it's 418, which
That's a lot more.
traditionally I think I would hit like within like maybe if I was training a little bit more like within a month or 3. But I think it's gonna be more like 3 to 6 months.
Yeah,
which
because
I'm okay with.
you're not training like full time now because you're playing hockey, and we're like
Yeah.
putting a damper on your life by making you travel, like because you travel from Hamilton, you're like driving 2 hours for a 2 hour practice, 2 hours home. Like that's one thing
Yeah.
people don't understand about the commitment it takes to play pro athletics after college.
Yeah.
Like talk about that. Why do you play? What's the attraction?
I just love playing. I love the competition. Love just the team aspect. Like I think the T6 is just so close. Even though like you have to stay the 6 feet apart, it's just everyone's so close. Uh, there's something different every single time. Like in terms of practice, in terms of games, it's always something different. So that's what I really enjoy about it. If it could be easier after for like the kids coming out of college is like, hey, like this is like it's not such a big choice for them. It's like, hey, now I got to choose like this lifestyle or this lifestyle for sure. I think would be a big. I think that's something within the next year to 3 to actually grow. So then it just feels professional for those kids coming out of college.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, as someone that's been in the C Dub and now that sees the N Dub, some of the strides that our ownership has made probably has pushed the ball up the court, don't you think?
Oh, huge. Like the dressing room, as soon as we get into that, huge. I know the support, like with equipment, with travel, the whole, even when we were going down to Lake Placid, that whole professional experience was like something that I'm going to remember for forever. So
The bus, the wrapped
the
bus,
that, yeah,
right? When that bus
so
pulls up
cool.
and you have it wrapped Toronto 6, that screams professional.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just to me, it's just a stage in the growth and development of women's professional sports. And I find that now like looking back and seeing how we grew the NCAA, it doesn't surprise me how long this is going to take. It's just people aren't used to waiting, right?
Yeah. Especially it's because there's so many things growing, there's so many things, and it's like, hey, women's hockey's been here. Like, the CW was 11 seasons
Right.
plus the little bit, like, the NW is going on to, well,
7.
playing 6, going on to 7, right? So, women's hockey has been there, and there's been leagues even before the CW. So it's
Right.
like, okay, like, we put
Let's
in some
go.
work, we've been here, let's go. It's like, hey, just a little bit more, like, let's get the structures in place, let's get everything like foundation, let's build up even just the grassroots program. Like, that's what I'm focusing on with my skills development. It's like, let's keep that strong and let's keep that growing, so when they come and they play, it's just like, what talent is this?
Yeah, it's unreal. Like, so how important is it to little girls that they get to see you?
Oh, huge. Like, when even like, I told a lot of my clients, is like, hey, I'm leaving again for Boston. They're like, oh, I'm gonna see you on TV, like, so sick, and like signing things when I came back, and just seeing their excitement. It's like, hey, like, yeah, it's something to grow into. Like, even just having the vibes is like, hey, like, this girl's a professional hockey player. It's like, oh, like, that's something cool. Like, I guess, like, I could start seeing myself more like that, even though it's like, hey, like, we're playing and everything, but that was like that was a nice moment.
Yeah, and now, so I don't want to get too morbid here, but what is, you got a Cornell degree, you're a coach. What does life look like for T Woods post pro hockey? Like, what, I mean, maybe you don't even know, but what kind of things do you dream of?
Um, that, I guess, we've had a lot of time to think about it during like this last, like, even 2021. Right now I'm just sort of looking on just growing the game, like, as a coach, even like off the ice, on the ice, sort of finding structures for me to help, like, again, like, grow my knowledge and that, as well as help many people as I can. That's pretty much it for
Yeah.
right now. Just trying to find more structure, more stability.
Well, you don't have to decide now. I'm just wondering if you had any like big dreams and goals, and I'm sure that there's going to be something in that brain because you're really smart and really talented, and you just haven't even thought of the next huge step you're going to make. So, T Woods, how do people find you? Like, how do we learn more about you and your journey?
Yeah. I'm more on Instagram. You could follow me at T Woods Training. You could see my big 405 lift, as
Yeah.
well as some deadlift videos on there. I do have affiliated with my other content stuff, which I'm going to be working on through Radar Hockey and Workload Performance.
Good.
Twitter is Taystorm, so Tay_storm,
Oh,
for related to my hockey, I guess.
storm.
Like,
I
storm
like
on
it.
the ice.
I like it.
And then my website is twoodstraining.com.
No, well, you got lots going on. You a total an entrepreneur, Cornell grad, love it. Reminds me of someone else I know, to be named later. Um, well, and the way to find the Toronto Six is at the Toronto Six everywhere except for Insta. It's at the Toronto.6. So that's how you do it. So T Woods, anything else you want to tell the audience before we go bye bye?
No, just we're gonna bring a lot to Boston, and we're gonna be the team to beat.
Woo! I love it.
Yeah.
You go, girl. And we're going to go, and you're going to be pounding goals in. Well, that's it. That's it for the Six Fix podcast this week. I'm your host, Digit Murphy. Taylor, thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
All right. Well, we'll see you next time. Bye bye.